recording now, and now I am starting streaming. Alright, hello everybody. I know you can't see us, but this is TacoBill Silverglen and Justin Silverglen Branch here.
Good evening.
Getting ready to do Game 2 of the GEMPC semifinal between Matt Lutz and Timo Dussel, CRG and Dillen. Looks like they're getting ready here. They've got a game up, and we're going to jump right in. So like I said, this is Game 2. Justin was on hand to watch Game 1, where Matt won by 4 cards. That was a He is the Chosen One versus Hunt Down virtual matchup. In this one, we have Matt, CRG, playing Carbon Chamber Testing, and Dillen, Timo, playing Old Allies. Justin, what do you think first impression on this?
I've played a lot of Old Allies, and I think, well, I think CCT is slightly favoured in this matchup, in my opinion. The battle over Jakku's system will be crucial. Obviously, Timo will start Guts. He's got to get solo up onto the Falcon. And but I think if CCT gets a good start, it can run away with this one.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like Justin said, it looks like Timo did start Guts along with a Brave Resistance and Strike Planning, both pretty standard. Whereas Matt is starting Any Methods Necessary. He grabbed Boba Fett and the gun and the security tower. I didn't see a ship. I know that's one of the things we were talking about in our team chat. So no ship. We see right away that... Please, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say the ship isn't a normal play. I have seen it pulled because it's just a free pull and it matches with Django fire, so it's certainly not an automatic choice.
Alright, you're a little low on volume, so I'm just moving my mic around. I apologize to everybody else.
Please tell me if this is better.
Oh, I moved the microphone right in front of the speaker, so he should be way better right now.
Okay, so I was just saying that the pulling Slave 1 is, since it's a free pull, is often a good choice because he matches nicely with Django, but it's not an automatic choice.
Right. And that's kind of, Matt was looking for kind of ways that he could improve the matchup, thinking about an Old Allies matchup. And that's one of the ones he had suggested. You
put Timo on Old Allies, did you?
It's entirely possible that I'm just conflating multiple chats, but we have been talking about this matchup, so.
Cool.
So we see right away Matt going first. He's got the audience chamber. He's got Boba Fett to the security tower. I'm sure a gun will follow. I know he does not play the bounty hunter card, the used 3 to move for free.
So effectively, this is like Bastion's Worlds deck because he didn't do that either. He paid the cost to move.
Yeah, we figured it's 1 card versus 1 force on turn 1.
Yeah,
seems better to play a better 60th card.
Yeah, and I think that was Bastion's thinking as well, having chatted to him about it.
Now, did you work with Timo at all, getting ready for this?
So the honest answer is I haven't.
Okay.
But I do know that he was considering playing Old Allies, and I do know that he did some practice games with Bastion. So it should be exciting because both players seem to have put each other on the right decks.
Yeah, and if you're testing this Bastion thing, I mean, you're getting the full experience of chamber testing.
Yeah, except there's been an oh my gosh by Dylan in the chat, so something must have happened. I wonder if he's just missed Ray's encampment, which, to be honest, seems to happen to me all the time. So maybe it's just the 2-2 sitting there, which is not ideal for him to pull.
Okay, so we were talking about CCT versus Old Allies in the chat. It looks like actually that Matt was pretty happy to see this Guts start. One of the things that we mentioned is that you don't get to start wackling with it, so you lose out on a generation, you lose out on a floating 2, and then your game plan has to be find solo.
Yeah, 100%. The first thing he needs to be doing is getting solo, and I think on this occasion probably Calrissian and maybe even Radis, because he used a leadership early on. I think he took Radis. I didn't check actually.
It was Radis, yes.
Yeah. So that Falcon turn 1 should fly up with Solo, Radis, and Calrissian on it, which would make it pretty tricky to crack if he did do that turn 1 straight up to the system. And I'd be tempted to do that if I were him.
Yeah, and it looks like you were right. He did miss his Ray's Hut pull, so he won't have an automatic Ray this turn. He does pull the 2/2 instead, which is certainly not the sight you want to find.
No, that is literally the one you don't want.
He did put back General Leia, which he grabbed with strike planning, to go get Solo, so he was able to find Solo quickly.
Yeah. I mean, this matchup normally boils down to who can hold Jakku's system.
That makes sense to me. I think we're going to see that Matt tries to kind of set up on the ground just to solidify that audience chamber, and then build his hand while he before he attacks Jakku.
Yeah, I mean, a standard turn 2 for dark side, assuming light side does nothing stupid, would be pull Darrow pulls IG-88 if you don't already have it in hand, and you go from there. But old allies can't afford to lose space in this matchup.
All right, so we saw General Calrissian come down. We see Admiral Radis as well. Admiral Radis is going to pull a Corellian Corvette.
Oh, I'm surprised he did that. He put Radis as a pilot and flew up and has kept Solo in hand. So he must have a barrier, I assume, in hand, or maybe an alternatives to fighting or a punch it or something, because Zuckuss can ruin his day.
Yeah, that would be a bad time. I wonder if he is just drawing to make sure he grabs that 2-0 next turn.
Yeah, he had to make sure he did. But that's why I'd have probably deployed Solo as well. But
yeah,
satisfying guts is crucial in this matchup.
All right, so at the end of Teemo's turn 1, he drew up to 13 cards. Has Solo General Calrissian and Radis at Jakku. And we start Matt's turn with 12 activation, 2 saved, but only 5 cards in hand, so he's probably not doing too much this turn.
No, and he gets a drain of 2 in. So that was a good choice. Because at the moment, old allies can't reduce that to 1 because it hasn't yet flipped.
Right. Joker King is in the chat, fellow semi-finalist at least, talking about Teemo probably has Punch It in hand.
Yeah. To have drawn that last force and not played Solo means that he's obviously feels confident he can get through this next turn, whatever may be thrown at him.
Right, and that had to be even if Matt was going to throw something, he would have had to have a really good 5-card hand to do that.
Definitely. But as you say, really he wants to consolidate that audience chamber, so he's draining for 2, he's retrieving each turn, and then he can start looking at weaknesses.
Yep. So we see Matt pull Scum and Villainy with the objective. He does have IG-88 in hand, so it doesn't have to waste a pull on Duro.
And that is nice.
He's going to transfer the gun over to IG-88.
Yeah, he can't transfer the frozen captive until the move phase, so he'll have to wait to get his card from his active force pile.
Looks like that's what he does. So right to his move phase, transfers the captive, is going to grab a card with IG-88. We'll probably draw several force here.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably be looking for some form of maybe. Is there any extra activation in this package? Possibly the passenger deck.
Yes, probably a passenger deck. I'm going to see if I can pull up our chats.
So the Ray, I know he pulled a Corvette with Radus, but it seems likely that Timo will go to the ground this coming turn rather than flying Ray up, but it'll be interesting to see what he plans to do.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him setting up his flip here and consolidating on the 2-2 just to kind of threaten drains of 2 and 2.
Yeah. He may not get to the 2-2 with Ray because she'll move out to the shipyard probably.
Oh, because that has to be deployed on that side, right?
Correct, yeah.
You know, I played against, I think it was Joker King recently playing Old Allies, and there was a point where he was going to deploy another site, and he didn't deploy it between the two, and I had wondered why, and I guess that's why.
Well, he's certainly one of the best players of Old Allies out there at the moment, so yeah, there'll be a reason.
He would have known better.
Yeah.
So he does full the encampment from reserve deck. Declines to drain this turn with only 12 force.
Yeah. It's not unusual. I mean, the key is to flip, consolidate, and start looking at your retrieval package and start trying to get some damage in, but also looking for protective cards because CCT can put together quite a package.
So it looks like he had the other side in hand as well, the village. He did find Walkling as well, which is always nice.
Yeah.
Up to 15 generation now from 10.
Yeah. I mean, I was intrigued when you flipped over CCT to see if you were going to, it would be carbon freezing CCT because Timo lost to that, didn't he?
Did he? I mean, he doesn't lose a lot of games, so.
True.
Alright, so it looks like Dylan is going to grab a Leia with strike planning. I think that's the second strike planning pull. But put that back to take... Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. Put back Ray to take Finn into hand.
Yeah, but he probably has Ray that he'll activate so he can get Leia back with the Ray pull. That would be a good play.
So here's Leia.
I mean Finn, sorry, not Leia.
Oh no, he put a Ray back to get Finn.
Yeah. Follow. Oh right, okay.
But knowing he had that second Ray in reserve deck here.
Yeah. Yeah, so that always hurts.
So Ray is going to get barriered at the camp.
That always hurts.
Yeah, that can't be fun.
No, in Euros 18, Emil did that to me and it hurt.
So Timo's kind of left with an interesting decision here. Ray can't move. Leia is by herself at the 2-2.
And he's got 3 force left to work with.
Right. Do you bring the ship down here, maybe? Turn it into a vehicle?
No, I don't think you can risk losing space,
okay.
if I'm honest. He may choose to and just consolidate, but you've got 2 characters exposed. He has got 12 cards in hand, and 3, so he doesn't need to panic. There's loads of time. And, okay.
Oh, Cal Foul is interesting. That's a very helpful card currently. So Cal Foul deploying for 0, able to let Timo flip. That will also let him move Cal Foul over to the 2-2, likely to help protect Leia.
Yep, exactly. Although Leia and Cal Foul is not necessarily they are going to be... That doesn't seem the most solid.
Yeah, you're a little exposed.
Definitely.
So Matt has 9 cards in his hand. He's going to activate 13 and pull one of those with IG-88. So a 10-card hand and 13 force. What's kind of like Matt's best case, worst case scenario here?
Well, I think Matt, the first card I would pull is an anti-barrier card, or maybe because I imagine that Timo would either have a barrier or he will have a female interrupt in hand to try and protect those two ladies.
Makes sense.
But it's not worth draining for one, obviously. So he's got the full 13 force to use once he's taken one from hand. So I think there's no doubt he wants to challenge that 2/2 sight. I would, if you can get hidden weapons together, that could be something good. Certainly, maybe Dr. E with maybe P59, or just to get together a decent enough crew that it will start basically flipping Timo back by clearing that 2/2, and also give Matt something that he can start retrieving and start the scum retrieval engine going.
So
that would be, I imagine, what he'll be looking at.
Matt will have to. Oh, he does drain. He will have to spend an extra force to deploy to the Starship Graveyard. So something to keep in mind, especially now that he's paid 3 to drain for 1.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that.
I wonder if he just doesn't have many characters, or didn't think that his squad was good enough to come down.
It's possible, but it does give Timo. He's then you're looking at a drain of 4, 2, and 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you say, maybe Matt is happy to play the waiting game. He did win the first match, and maybe he's feeling that he doesn't have to rush in and make a mistake, and that he can actually win this through the long run, which it might be possible, but once both are set up, they tend to trade damage fairly equally. And generally, it's not worth attacking Ray at the encampment because she's immune to less than 6. You can't fire a weapon there, so it's,
right.
That's not really worth it. And again, if he's got Punch It in hand, which is possible, as we said, attacking the Falcon isn't necessarily a great thing to do. So really, that 2/2 looks like the optimum one to attack. Try and flip back as well.
Even that, though, feels kind of tough because of the subtraction from the objective, the -2, and then working with Calfal. You may not be able to get rid of anybody.
And Leia may have a leadership so that she may be able to reduce, to 1. So maybe if he can get a smuggler there, or with Ponderbabber or something like that. But that Calfal was certainly a great card to have had in hand for that. A couple of free deploys there with Radis and Calfal certainly helped save force. And
now, one thing I know Matt likes to do in this deck is to... Oh, we have some action here. Okay. I was going to say one thing he likes to do is to deploy U-3PO, but instead we have Dr. Chelly Afra to the encampment.
I would agree, U-3PO would be a great card, but this is an interesting play.
We have Aura Singh with Blaster Rifle.
But she can't shoot.
Can she not shoot? May not be targetable. Oh boy, I did not know that was text.
An old Allies player would rely on that text.
Yeah.
I think this. I'm not saying it's a misplay. It's an interesting play, but it's one I'm surprised by.
No, I think that's probably not something Matt realized, especially given the complement of players here.
Yeah.
Looks like Mara will follow and then be barriered.
Yeah. And really, those 3 might have been better off at the graveyard.
Yeah.
Unless, as I said, I thought Barrier Canceller would have been a good card because, when Ray moves out, they're not going to do any damage next turn.
Right.
In many respects, not finding Ray's encampment turn 1 may have actually helped Timo.
Yeah, he said he was not that it wasn't going great, but now, all 3 of his sites seem pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, power 10, at the moment, that's a 10 against 4,
Yep, we have a Finn react.
Which, yeah. So, and mind you, can she now be targeted by weapons?
Let's see.
If Ray presses.
If Ray presses, she may not be targeted by weapons.
Yeah, but he sort of gave up Finn to get hit, so. And that's a hit. So I'm not quite sure the point of that.
Of the Finn react?
Yeah.
Might have been just worried about being overpowered, but I guess you were at 10 to 4, and effectively it's only 8 to 4 with the subtraction.
And Ray is +1 to Destiny, so it's...
Yeah, it's even less.
And she retained... Yeah.
So Finn, Teemo used the objective to subtract Destiny, so Finn was not hit. Finn is going to grab a sorry about the mess combo using his text to get a 2 out of the deck. Teemo also going to draw his force pile card with Ray. Matt's going to draw a 5, which is pretty good. That'll get rid of Finn. Teemo draws a 4, which will become a 5, and that's going to get rid of Aura Singh. So Matt's going to win the battle, but really it's just a loss of Finn.
Yeah. Why did Finn not get hit? What did Matt drew? He drew a 4.
Yeah, Teemo used the objective text to make it -2.
Is that not a 5 with Aura?
I think not. So it's a 5 with Aura, but then subtracted. You subtract 2, so it's a 3/3.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Ignore me.
It's been a long day. A lot of maths.
But as you say, that was a bit of a nil result, that battle.
Yeah, so the end of this is that Teemo is going to be able to drain for 2 in space and 2 on the ground. Matt's going to lose...
he can now safely deploy solo.
Yep. Matt's going to lose Nal Hutta, a Probot, Projective Telepathy, and Jango Fett. All from reserve deck. He does still have a small hand.
Yeah. I mean, if I were Teemo, I'd be putting solo on the Falcon.
Right.
Moving Ray out. Knowing that, obviously, Matt can't retrieve. Oh. Well, there we go. He's going for it.
We play aggressive here, apparently.
Yeah. I love this.
All right. So, we have Chewie with Bowcaster and Captain Harrison Dula come down for 9 force. Yep, so it looks like right now Teemo is getting a weapon, Bowcaster Swing, and a extra Destiny with Hera.
Yep.
So Matt currently power 10 once the battle starts. Teemo currently power 15. We do know that Teemo has that sorry about the mess, too.
Yep. And Teemo will be able to retrieve here. And I'm guessing he thinks that Matt doesn't have a good combo in hand because he didn't stop the Finn react.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
He probably feels he can go for some serious overflow here.
Looks like Radis is going to go to Passenger, so we'll probably see Han come down here as well. Solo, excuse me.
Yep. If he clears that mark, it'd be bad.
Alright, so Teemo will initiate battle, gets to retrieve a force with Leia, gets to retrieve that Finn. Chewie's going to take a Bowcaster shot at Mara with a lightsaber. Draws a 5 and...
Gonna be a hit.
Yeah, I don't think there's any zeros left.
Shouldn't be.
5 and a 1.
Is there a close call or anything?
But that looks like it's going to hit. Here
And
comes a sorry about the mess.
Sorry about the mess. Has Matt got the imbalanced combo? No.
Does not look like it.
No. He does go down to 1 Destiny now because, of course, Mara isn't present, but...
Looks like Teemo lost his Hoojix from his used pile, so it's something to keep in mind. If the game goes a bit longer.
So he can always play that.
That's true. So, drawing a 4, which becomes a 5. It is 20 to 6. Chelly forfeits for 3, so Matt's going to owe 11 overflow. Does
Yep.
not have a Gick. Poetically, the
No.
first card off the top is the imbalance combo.
Yeah.
So Guri, Greedo, Mithra, Naruto, Dr. E, None Shall Pass, Battle Order combo, Prince Sizor, Dengar with Gun, Jabba Space Cruiser, and Stunning Leader.
And that's a lot.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I think attacking that Ray, I don't think he realised about the weapon, and obviously the barrier was just, yeah.
Yeah, icing on the cake.
Yeah.
So Life Force counts. Matt has 20 left in Life Force and 6 in hand, whereas Timo has 26 left in Life Force and 8 in hand. Matt did win game 1, like we said, by 4, so a little bit of a cushion, but
Yeah.
very close
The
right
problem
now.
is, Matt is now not retrieving.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so unable to retrieve with Scum and Villainy. Is it all
Yep.
retrieval or just Scum?
Yeah. Scum.
Okay. So he'll still be able to get to retrieve 1 a turn with the objective.
Yes.
Once he satisfies simple tricks, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so you just lost 12 force. What do you do now if you're Matt?
Wish I had made the play the turn before. I think he's in a difficult position now, because Old Allies is pretty set up. He does know that the 3 characters at the encampment will have to move out.
Right.
So really, I think he should be attacking the 2-2. I know I've said it before, because if there is a punch it, going for space isn't going to be a solution. Although it's a big supposition that we've had all the way through that he has punch it, because otherwise I still think the system was, is the vulnerability. If he can flip back, Matt can flip Timo back, that can help, but he needs to clear Leia and he needs to clear Calval, and really, yeah, he just didn't have the right characters, as you say, to do that. Really, Dr. Chelly is best saved for retrieving U3PO. U3PO would be good now to go to the 2-2.
Right.
He's just going to have to try and spend a couple of turns mitigating as much damage as possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, that means he's not going to be able to do as much damage himself.
No, and I don't think draining the last turn was sensible. He spent 3 force just for 1. It just didn't seem wise.
Okay, well, it looks like Matt is heading to space now, so we will find out about that punch it. So he has Ellis and Hinthra, and he has Bosk Virtual, who's going to limit to 1 destiny now that Solo is there.
Yep.
Matt also has a Lady Proxima to add a destiny if he gets a 3rd alien.
Yep.
Which he does. He has Mighty Jabba.
Okay. And the key here is whether Radus has got, whether there's a leadership somewhere.
Yeah. Mighty Jabba also adds a destiny with Proxima, so that is 1, 2, 3 destiny.
Yep.
We'll just have to see about that leadership.
Yep. I mean, there should be enough forfeit up there with Guts out, because Calrissian is 8, Radus is 5, so... But he's just got to go, he's got to press the button, he's got to go all-out attack. Obviously, that's what he's decided to do, and let's see if it pays dividends.
Yeah, he's going to need 16 in 3 destinies to cut through both the objective and the forfeit bonus from Guts to get to Solo.
But Timo may have put most of his characters down already. It's possible that there isn't, maybe he hasn't got Poe yet or any of the other dangerous characters. It doesn't attack.
Yeah, I think that's fine, just because you don't want to get rebeat.
Well, no, but we know that there's a Corvette in hand.
Right.
So I imagine that comes down. Shuttle Calfal up, maybe. Move Ray and Chewie and Hera out, or maybe we'll see a Corvette with Poe.
So Timo does drain for 2 at the Starship Graveyard. Matt loses Imperial Decree and None Shall Pass, both off of reserve deck.
Bless you.
She's all the way upstairs, too. That's really loud. Alright, looks like he put Holdo back to get Rose, but said that was the wrong one.
Matt's a nice guy. He'll probably let him switch that. I wouldn't.
It's good to be self-aware. Probably get Poe, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think Matt's probably, if it was looking tighter, he may have been a bit tougher himself on that one.
So Tantive 4 comes down. Soon to be followed by Poe Dameron.
And maybe the Corvette as well.
Yeah, I think with this power difference, especially if you have a leadership. Oh. Wedge in Red Squadron 1. Okay, so Timo, after starting a little slow, has just about everything he needs. With an X-Wing laser cannon on top, just for good measure.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had an amazing hand, quite frankly, or drew into it that first turn.
So he will battle. He gets to retrieve 1 with General Leia. He's going to fire the cannon.
Just wants to take it out.
It's going to use all 3 force, so we'll see. Needs a 3, I believe. Draws Rose.
Yep, that'll do nicely.
That'll do.
Yep.
I am guessing that's going to be a good game from Matt.
I would have thought so. Because he's not taking that system now. And he's not getting any of those cards back. I'd say there's very little he can do.
Ig will take a card into hand from Force Pile. Yeah, that system is now a lost cause. Timo doesn't have enough force to move everybody over, but I think he's pretty content to drain for 2 and 2.
Yeah.
We've got a short lull, so I'll let you guys know that later on today, Dan is going to be hosting Holotheater with special guest Lenny Rubin. Lenny is the head of the player card developers. I think he's the head. Definitely a player card developer. And immediately following that, I believe Joker King and Adam Trunzo will be playing Game 2 of their semifinal. Also hosted by Dan. Alright, so Matt's going to see what he can do. He's got 16 left in Life Force and 4 in hand. He's getting a 5th one in hand now with IG-88. I'm going to ask you this knowing full well your answer, but what is it that Matt should try to do here? Is it still the 2-2?
Well, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it was either the system turn 2 or the 2-2, but never raising encampment.
So he's going to ping with You'll Be Dead. Dylan losing Saul Guerrera from deck, not a card you see in Old Allies very often.
No.
Definitely.
But your team is known for ISB.
We do play a little bit of ISB.
Yeah.
So here's P59 to the encampment.
Possibly only 3 turns late.
Oh, not to the encampment, excuse me, to the Starship Graveyard. is going to use his once per game retrieval with Jabba's Haven.
Dr. E.
Dr. E would be a good one.
Still no U3PO. I haven't seen that lost either. But yeah, just... See what he's going to take.
Joker King in chat guessing Mara Jade with lightsaber. Also a valid choice.
Yeah, although he's only got 3 left in reserve.
True. It was Dr. E. Who follows?
Well, the way this has gone, and if Joker King wins, we might see him tech for this for Timo playing Old Allies.
3 force for Forlong with gun. We'll be able to cancel Calfal's text. I mean, also the way this is going, that Timo is likely to have the I can handle this myself too.
Yep, possibly. He's certainly got Hujix in the lost pile for Solo to play if he has to.
Okay, so no interrupt, but we see P-59 is going to shoot Calfal.
And that is a hit.
So that hits.
Huh.
Cannot be operated on by Dr. E, but we'll still have to
good
lose
card.
2 force.
Yeah. And he keeps his forfeit, most importantly, as well.
Yeah.
So Leia will be there, able to... I don't know what sort of rebeat there might be, because a lot of the cards seem to be on the table, but...
No, I don't think we're looking at a rebeat here, but...
Yeah.
So Forlong will cancel Calfal's text now.
Mm-hmm.
Timo going to play Rebel Leadership to add 1 Battle Destiny.
Yeah.
Really just needs to draw 5 to really take control of that site. So.
Yeah, completely.
Matt draws a 5, which will become a 3. So he's going to be power 13.
Yeah. So, let's see what these 2 are.
Timo draws
So
a 2.
Cassian Andor.
And a 5.
So that's more than enough.
Yeah, that's going to make Matt lose 2 guys, so probably P-59 and Dr. E.
Yeah, and really no damage done whatsoever. Maybe lose 2 to P-59, but yeah.
Yep, so Dark does win the battle 13-2, but Calfal's forfeit will cover that 1 force loss. Matt has to lose 7 attrition. Dr. E goes for 3. P-59 goes for 4.
Yeah.
Forlom stands alone.
Yeah, and we're going to see a drain of 4 coming up now for Matt to swallow, which I think probably definitely takes the game away from him, if not.
Yeah, he's going to end this turn with 15 life force, 3 in hand. And so losing 4 is going to be rough.
Yeah. It's Matt seemed like he had a good opening hand with IG-88 in hand, but obviously his force pile didn't give him what he wanted to attack.
Yeah, and I think attacking into that site, I'm wondering if he knew about the weapons clause on that site because I had no idea that was there.
Yeah. But and to be honest, even if he did, it was the barrier that hurt the most.
Yes. Because at that point he could have just overpowered Ray.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
wasn't able to.
No.
So Timo will drain for 2 and 2. Matt's going to lose Uta Guta Solo. Something special planned for them. The passenger deck and any methods necessary.
He doesn't really have to do very much else here. I mean, he can just move the 3 characters out, put someone with Leia as a bit of protection, draw a couple, and move on.
Yeah, I might even just move Leia over to the site with the 3 of them as well, just to make sure you don't lose to the perfect 3-card hand.
Yeah, but with, he is flipped and...
Yeah, and Solo has a Hoojix in the Lost Pile.
And... Yeah, exactly. And there's no retrieval for Matt because Simple Tricks is out, so, yeah.
So he's going to reinforce. He put Lorsan Tekka back with a Brave Resistance, grabbed Admiral Statura, and drops her, or him. Also drops Rose to the 2-1.
Yep.
And just for good measure, Dash and Rogue 12.
Yeah, and now you can get to 3 sites. You could put Hera in Dash, move that over, and let Ray and Chewie hang out with Rose.
Yep, that all seems pretty good.
Yep. Well, we don't see a lot of old allies, but it's interesting that we've seen Joker King and Timo, Chris and Timo both play it, and been fairly successful with it.
Yeah, I think it's poised to do pretty well, especially when the errata hits. You kind of see a hit to Hunt Down Virtual, you see a hit to ISB.
Yep. How do you think it will cope with the scum meta that everyone is predicting, though?
I mean, it seemed to do pretty well here. I know.
Very true. Yeah.
Even Joker King's game against Joe Olsen. Joe won that game, but it wasn't by much.
No, it was very close.
So I think if you can run some cards like Guts and Wedge and Ship and maybe Cannons and handle that.
Yep. And in fact, Timo plays a bit safer than maybe I would have done. So.
Alright, so Timo ends his turn, 20 life force, 3 in hand. Matt's going to activate all 10 of his cards. He has 11 in life force right now. He's going to take a card with IG-88.
I'd be fascinated to know if Timo had Punch It, because if he had, he's been holding it all game, and he's not ditched it yet. So I would just wonder if that turn 1 was a good bluff.
Yeah,
he might have had leadership, but that wouldn't have saved him from a Zuckus or a if that ship had been in the active pile.
So Matt's going to play Cad Bane over to the village. I believe that's the village, yeah. It does find U-3PO.
Yep.
Drop that in front of the pile at the Starship Graveyard. Cuts damage in half, just about.
But we're looking at him facing down a drain of 3 and a retrieval with Rose next turn. Plus then a couple of people maybe just walk over to the village.
Yeah.
Maybe Chewie moves over to the 2-2. Maybe there's a sorry about the mess with Solo. So either way, we know that Matt is doing his best to firefight.
And one force to move Forlum over. Alright, so Matt ends that turn with 10 life force, 2 in hand. And then concedes.
Yep.
So yeah, that was pretty tough, coming down into that barrier, into that site. It's kind of rough. And even though
Yeah.
Timo got a slow start, he was able to find pretty much everything he needed.
Yeah, I know he was upset that the encampment wasn't there, but actually, I think in reflection, he'll probably think it enabled him to draw into everything he probably needed. So certainly of those first 2 turns, CCT is a little bit slow sometimes, but once it gets going, it's excellent. But on this occasion, it just never quite got itself in place.
Yeah, so Timo has moved on to the final of the GEMPC, awaiting the winner of Joker King and Adam Trunzo, who will play tonight at the conclusion of Hala Theater, where Lenny Rubin will be your guest tonight. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Justin, do you?
No, just have a good evening, Bill.
Yeah, you as well. I appreciate you coming on, doing some commentary.
Yeah, it's always fun. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you guys. Tune in later to the main PC channel for Hala Theater. All right, I have stopped streaming